Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today talking Clash of Clans. We're also going to go ahead and watch some raids post-update in just a minute here, but first, because it's a longer episode, I wanted to go ahead and discuss some of the talking points for this conversation that I had with Crips. Some of you might recognize the name. He's been on the channel before. He's one of the best attackers in our entire alliance, and I thought we'd kind of pick his brain on everything Clash of Clans, specifically the following talking points. We're going to go over the best part of the update, the direction of the offensive meta in terms of strategy at Town Hall 8, 9, 10, and 11. We're going to talk about the direction of defensive meta, including where to put those new bomb towers. We're going to talk about the minor bug fix, aka nerf, let's just call it what it is. And then we're going to talk about the worst of the update, what we think needs changing or at least revising. And lastly, we'll get some attacking tips from the pro. Now, this will be a free-flowing conversation, so it won't necessarily be in this specific order, but again, because it's so long, wanted to give you guys a preview of what is going to be coming. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our conversation. Alright guys, I am here with none other than Crips. Crips, what's up, man?
How's it going, Ash? Thanks for having me back.
It's been a long time. I think I had you on the channel, like 6 months ago or so, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe a little longer than that, but it's around there.
What was it? Queen Walk, I think? Queen Walk 3-star expert?
Yes, yeah, Queen Walk with witches back in the day.
Yes! Oh gosh. Well, we're going to talk about witches and the rest of the update stuff. I really wanted to have you on because most people probably already know you. Anybody who's watched my channel, you're definitely one of our best attackers, not only in Red Elite, but in all of Elite Nation, all our clans. So I thought you'd be the guy to ask, especially regarding the new troop buffs and nerfs and all that good stuff. But we're really going to cover the entire update. We're going to talk about some of the pain points, some of the things you actually like, and then maybe how to fix some of the things that you don't like. So let's kind of hop right into it. And overall, what do you think of the update? What do you grade the update, Crips?
I guess I would say it's maybe a 7 out of 10. You know, right now it's pretty early. The update only dropped maybe 2 or 3 days ago, so we're still kind of in that in-between phase where we don't really know what's going to work, what's going to not work, and all these changes that they made. So still trying to figure that out. So I would say 7 out of 10.
Okay, well, instead of just going over the list, item by item, why don't you tell me what your favorite part, if you have one, what was your favorite part of this update?
I mean, definitely the friendly wars. I think that was a feature that the Elite War clans have been looking for a long time. So that addition for me was probably the best, and maybe the minor nerf also, but we can get into that later.
Yeah, it's going to be a controversial because you're a big fan of the minor quote-unquote nerf. They're not calling it a nerf. I think they're calling it a bug fixes, but it's a nerf, you know?
Right.
But before we get into that, so we haven't actually done a friendly war yet because we hopped right into war right after the update came out. So what are your, you said friendly wars is your favorite part, so what, if any, are maybe some possible pain points on friendly wars? Like, I'm not a big fan that it's attached to the individual player and not the clan because, I mean, it's a new feature. We should be super pumped about it, but we can't even do it right now. So, what are your overall thoughts on the system? Are you happy with it? Obviously it's not perfect, but what are your early thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, I guess one thing I don't like if we're discussing a pain point would be that you can't do a friendly war while you're in a regular clan war.
Yeah.
I understand that maybe there are some back-end issues with having that play out, but personally, I mean, I would like to be able to do both to get involved in a friendly war while doing a clan war as well.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I mean, the part of the thing that I really like about the Arrange War feature is that it gives you, as the player, it gives you that option of having like a spontaneous little, get-together kind of, or a little mini event within your clan if you want to. And you just can't do that in clans like ours who are warring all the time. So I hate that part of it, but I love the idea behind it. Are you cool with them giving us no option to have any kind of a loot or anything like that. I mean, that does open the door for exploits, but do you think there's any happy medium there, or do you think it's fine the way it is with no nothing gained, nothing lost?
I'm totally fine with that. Nothing gained, nothing lost. I mean, really, it's just for fun. You know, it's a friendly war with an opposing clan or a group of friends, and there really doesn't need to be too much incentive with it other than bragging rights. Otherwise, I could see it get exploited, like farm wars and stuff like that is available in Clan War regular.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, I'm worried that if they did add those options, then it just, even if we can't foresee exactly what the exploits may be, there's going to be somebody out there. You know how it is. Everybody's trying to game the system, So I'm kind of happy with that as well. But I definitely do have, besides that one gripe, I'd really like to have the clan castle troops not cost anything. I know it's a minor thing, but I know for people out there who aren't, people willing to spend a few gems like we are, it does kind of stink that you have to expend troops filling in the clan castle, and that you can't use your heroes when they're upgrading. I don't know if that really is on your radar, but do you think that that's something that you'd like to see?
Yeah, I guess yes, I would. I'm a max 11, so I don't really have to deal with the issues of upgrading heroes. But yeah, I mean, Supercell said a while back that going ahead, there would be no other issues with if they added a new feature with upgrading heroes, that would be something they wouldn't allow going forward. But I mean, that's clearly not the case with Friendly Wars.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was going to mention the same thing, man. It's like, Jonas did say, I mean, I remember the Chief Pat interview that he said that if they add a new feature, you can expect to use heroes when they're upgrading. So they didn't really come through. I mean, to be fair to them, that was like a year ago, so I'm sure they didn't see exactly what this feature would be, and maybe it just doesn't make sense on their end for whatever reason, maybe economically, I don't know, but, I mean, we're only left to speculate, as they haven't allowed it right now, and I don't really see it coming either, but, we'll have to wait and see. It would be really nice, because there's no loot involved, I think it should be anything goes, kind of, because we, as the players, we can set the parameters, we can set... we can shoot. It doesn't have to be even. It doesn't have to be balanced. We can input the rosters. So I think that because there's no loot expended either on the troops or on the or to gain from the win or loss, I don't know. I don't see why we can't use heroes too. But I don't know. But overall, I do like the feature. I don't want to sound like I'm being totally negative. So I'm with you. That is also definitely my favorite part of the update. Is there any clan out there that you want to battle first, man?
I mean, I would take on any of our Alliance clans, anybody in Elite Nation.
I'm with you.
But no, I mean, nobody in particular. I mean, anybody that wants to go, Red Elite's ready anytime.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think I'm gonna, I'm with you. Number one with an asterisk is definitely our own clans in the Alliance. I definitely want a piece of Battle Elite, but other than that, I think that I want to call out Galadon. I think I want to face Lost Phoenix. That's a clan we never went against. So I don't know if you feel like we can hang, but I'm pretty confident. I think we can. At least it will be a good match, I hope.
I'm totally on board for that. Galadon, let's go.
You heard it first, right here. Galadon, you're challenged, buddy. So give us your 10 best guys. I think that's pretty cool. So anyway, back to the actual update. So let's cover the elephant in the room, Crips. You are a big fan of the minor nerf. Even with all the defensive levels, why?
Okay, well, I think that
by the way, I can hear all the people commenting right now. Screw this guy. He has no clue. He's a max gemmer. Go on.
So miners were they were just so OP, man. I mean, you could just literally spam 50 miners, on a base and on a max 11, and as long as you kind of took care of the clan castle before, I mean, you were in okay shape. And for me, it's too much. I mean, even if I was doing like a boner attack, I would swag 2 heals, on a max 11. I mean, that kind of thing is just, it's too much. So I think the minor nerf is good. Maybe a little bit overdone, I guess, maybe a little bit. But overall, I think it's good. I mean, it's going to push people to try new strategies. I think for a while there, when the minors first came out, everybody kind of got stuck in that rut of just relying on the minors as a crutch.
Yep.
And so for me, like, I like to take a lot of time and put a lot of thought into my attacks, and the small details of, okay, if I drop my healers on this side of the queen, is it going to affect where she goes, or how that's going to how it's going to play out, all these small things. But seeing 50 minors get dropped and just wipe out a base, I mean, it just wasn't fun for me.
So have you tried minor attacks? Obviously you have. So what do you think they're useless at Town Hall 10 and 11? Or, by useless, I mean, can they better be replaced by other troops? Or is the kind of jury still out on that?
I think it's a little early to tell, but I did try one boner earlier yesterday, and I got mixed results. I don't think I got a 3-star, so I mean, I think that's a good thing.
What would you say to people out there who want to use the boner strategy or a mass minor type strategy? Like, just update aside, what do you think the most common mistakes are? Because you were really the 3-star master, like 6 packs for days on Crips. So what do you look at in a base, and what are some common mistakes?
I mean, I look at the walls, definitely. If you're doing a queen walk, how she's going to path. I mean, you take into account the walls, how to break the walls, where she's going to go, buildings that lead to the next thing. I mean, there's so many small details, and you want to create a good funnel if you're using bowlers in your kill squad. I mean there's tons of things. I mean, there's so many minute details that we can go into.
How do you decide to use a queen walk or just straight up boner, bringing extra bowlers and minors? Is it all based on the funneling, or what are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at air defense placement for queen walk. If the base was scouted before, where the black air mines are. Well, I guess inferno placement, that kind of matters if they have them on the island with the double spacing on each side. So I mean, there's a lot. If there's, okay, like, I prefer doing a boner if there's an inferno somewhat near the eagle. Okay. So for me, that way I can take out the inferno, the eagle, and generally in that vicinity would be the clan castle, so that would trigger and that would work as well. And then I would start with the miners on the opposite side to flank everything around. But if I was queen walking, if it's an isolated eagle, that's better, because I can just take that out on my queen walk, if that's possible. So as long as it's not covered by a inferno tower, then I would say queen walking is better.
Good tips for sure. And I think a lot of people do struggle with, you look at a base and you almost feel like there's maybe 2 or 3 or even 4 strategies that you could use, but what one is the best? It's often, base dependent, and, that's something that even me, even you, I'm sure, still, in hindsight, it's always 2020, right? Where you're like, I should have done this, that, or the other thing. So it's good to get those tips on, your objectives and how that changes what type of army you're using. Kind of moving on a little bit, where do you think the meta will go if you had to speculate? Let's start with Town Hall 11, because that's what you are, but I do want to touch on Town Hall 10, 9, and 8 as well. So if you had to speculate, do you think this is enough? Like, do you think witches will enter the stratosphere at Town Hall 11? Do you think that we'll be seeing less miners, any hogs? Like, what are your overall predictions?
I think the meta is going to shift to air. I think we're going to see a lot of Queen Walk La Lune or Penta Lava. Maybe Queen Walk Mass Drags. I mean, that's something that I'm kind of working on right now.
Do you have the drags up? Did you gem your dragon time?
I did gem my drags. That's one thing that I did gem.
Nice.
Because I was getting some high percentage Queen Walk drags before, and then the update came, so I figured, okay, you know, if I'm pushing 80-90% 2-star on a max 11, you know, this might be enough to give me that extra 15-20%.
So what do you think so far? What are the early thoughts on Queen Walk into some sort of a dragon attack?
I like it, but it's extremely base dependent. It's harder than... I mean, it really is base dependent. A lot of the times, it's on a base where the air defenses are easily accessible on the outsides, or at least towards the outside. So I mean, it's in the works. I'm working on it, but
what are your early thoughts on spells? What are you rocking as far as are you taking down air defenses, or are you just like raging them up?
Yeah, I'm using 4 rages and a freeze. That's like kind of my general composition. I've sometimes switch out one of the rages for a heal, and that kind of works too. But I've also gone with a more of a golem bowler kill squad.
Okay.
If I can get the Eagle and Inferno, kind of like what I was describing earlier versus Queen Walk versus Boner. If I can get an Inferno and the Eagle and the CC, then I'm in good shape for just using the drags to flank on the side to take out the other Inferno and other trash buildings and defenses.
Well, I hope to see some of your, I don't even know what you'd call that strategy. I was going to come up with a spiffy acronym, but who knows? But I'd like to see one of those at 3 stars by you. And when/if/ definitely when you do, I'll be sure to bring it on the channel, because I'm really interested in possibly seeing dragons in hybrid attacks at Town Hall 11. That would be really cool, because dragons are kind of like, you know, they have that stigmatism on them, because the last time you really use dragons, for the most part, you see them a little bit here and there at Town Hall 9, or in like the when you're reaching up as a Town Hall 10 or 9 hitting an 11, but you don't really see them as any integral part of hybrid strategy. So if that does happen, I think it's a big win for Supercell and the Clash team if that does indeed happen. So I'm really excited about the dragon attacks. Are you a big fan of the other troop upgrades, the baby dragon, the wizards, and that was it, right? Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I mean, I guess the baby drag, I have the baby drag under upgrade currently. And I mean, I just kind of use that more as a funneling troop. It's really good. I mean, it's tanky, you know, it can hang in there a while, especially when it's under the rage, its own rage. Wizard, yeah, I don't use Wiz too much. I would rather bring like a bowler to funnel, or a baby drag. Wiz wasn't really a big thing for me. And the witches, I mean, I don't see them being too useful at Town Hall 11 currently.
Yeah,
I did try some. I used about 16 with a golem to tank, and they cleared, I think, I want to say maybe 60% of the base. It wasn't as much before like they used to be.
Yeah, you know, when I was on the developer build, you know, I tried my heart out to try to get a 3-star against a max Town Hall 11 with like the bomb towers and everything, and I just I couldn't even do it. And I was basically modding. You know, I tried like 20 times. And I just couldn't do it with totally mass witch. I wasn't trying anything hybrid, but I thought it would be really cool to make like some kind of a fun video, because you know how long I've been calling for witches to be great again. And
oh yeah.
I thought it would be so fun to just do a witch 3-star and say, look they're great again, but I just couldn't make it happen. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that, you know, I mean, it's not rocket science to figure out that the witches, what made them so OP was the fact that the skeletons triggered bombs. I mean, it was pretty much as simple as that. So I think I'm a big fan of adding that back to the skeletons, and I know that there is a little bit of a danger of making them incredibly OP again, but on the other hand, think about it, before they, or in the interim time since they nerfed the witches, they've added a lot of defensive levels and 2 new defenses in the bomb towers. I think it's safe to give them that ability back again. Are you with me or against me?
I'm 100% with you. I think back when they were OP, I mean, I don't think they were necessarily too OP. Yes. There was a good balance with them. I mean, I don't think that maybe mass witch should be a thing where they can just drop 20 witches and wipe out a base. But I mean, if you're using 6 or 7, 8, 9 in a queen walk, I mean, I think that should be a good strategy that would be valuable if they were able to trigger the traps again.
I agree with you 100% because you know what? It's not like in Clan Wars back then we were seeing a bunch of people just drop 20 witches and 3-star and good, solid bases. I mean, that was, you see it here and there, but you saw it with miners, 100 times, more. But I don't know. As far as miners, I mentioned miners. I don't know. I mean, I guess I disagree with you on the miner nerf. I'm not a big fan of it. And that's probably because I'm just nowhere near as good of attacker as you are. So I really leaned heavily on those miners, Not so much in the mass miner attacks, but, in the boner attacks, I really thought that miners were really solid. Here's the thing. I think I'm okay with the nerf. I'm okay with a small nerf, but I think that the added mortar level, the added inferno tower levels, and the added bomb towers, that was kind of a nerf enough for me, I thought, And then when they changed all the mechanics, now they don't burrow as fast, and now they stay above longer, they can be targeted easier. I think now you're starting to get into, piling on a little bit onto my poor miners,
I can definitely see that because with all these new additions, we weren't able to use the miners as they were before.
Exactly. Yeah.
Most people were just kind of anticipating that the miners would stay the same, and adding all these new defenses and new levels would still be able to use the miners as they were, and they're just not.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's tough when they do that without seeing, like you said, how what they have added affects the game first. But anyway, we're watching Town Hall 9 attacks right here. So why don't you give us a quick take on Town Hall 9? I know you don't have a Town Hall 9, or you're not a Town Hall 9, but do you think that hogs now are a little bit too OP at Town Hall 9 with the change to the giant bomb?
Definitely. Yeah, I think that hog attacks at Town Hall 9 were in a good place before they did the giant bomb nerf. I think that maybe they should have buffed hogs at 10 and 11. Mm-hmm. And left hogs the way they were at Town Hall 9 without the giant bomb nerf. But, I mean, I guess that's just the way they kind of wanted to do it this time.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. I think that, just a straight-up hog buff like that across every level, to me, it felt like a little bit reactionary. Like, okay, we're gonna add the bomb tower. People are gonna be upset because it's gonna affect hogs, and they're gonna feel like ground's not strong enough. So let's just go ahead and buff hogs via the removal of the double damage, or the damage and a half on the giant bombs. So I'm with you. I don't think that hogs are strong enough still at Town Hall 10 and 11. And maybe 10, but I don't know. Probably not strong enough to be completely viable. Is at least as viable as bowlers and miners are. And at Town Hall 8 and 9, I think that they're now incredibly strong. I mean, we're starting to see like. Did we see any all hog attacks? I don't think so, but at least I'm trying to look right now, but it doesn't look like we had any all straight up hog attacks. But it seems like that should almost be viable against non-max bases, and that's no good.
I think there was one that was like 29 or 32. It wasn't all hogs, but it was pretty high up there. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, if you're looking at Town Hall 10 and 11, we have to deal with Infernos, and at Town Hall 11, the Eagle Artillery. So hogs they're just not strong enough to withstand it. And doing a nerf to a giant bomb, I mean, even if they weren't placed in a double on a Town Hall 11 or 10, it's just there's too much damage coming in on them.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again. Full 100% agreed. So moving on a little bit here, past these all the troop additions, what are your early thoughts on the bomb towers, and how do you think that will change base building defensively? I know you're really our only, I shouldn't say that, I don't want to offend anybody, but you're one of our best base designers in the entire alliance, at least in Red Elite. I can say that for sure. So what are your thoughts? Obviously defense, it seems, always takes much longer to catch up to, or we take longer to catch up to the defensive changes in the game. So this is very, very early on. So people watching this in a month or two are probably going to be like, they don't know what they're talking about. But if you had to speculate, what do you think about bomb towers? Let's just start out with the most simple question. where should people be placing these bad boys inside their bases already? If they weren't going to build a whole new base, where should they be placing them?
I would probably say next to the Inferno Tower. Just because I think people are still using miners at the moment, and it hasn't really caught up to everybody a new meta to use. So miners are still going to be going for the Inferno Tower, and once the bomb tower goes down, it'll be an additional bomb to take them out.
Absolutely. So what do you think about Town Hall 8 and 9? Do you think that where should they put them? Is it like a centralized unit, or I mean, is it next to? Is it as important as Expos, say, or should they pair them with giant bombs? What are your early thoughts as far as traps and placement on in Town Hall 8 and 9s?
Yeah, I think for them, I would pair it with giant bombs, just so I can have that much more additional damage in one small central area to take out those troops that. Whatever it is that they're using, Valks or Hogs.
Yeah.
So I think maybe even putting them next to Expos, I guess, maybe for Town Hall 9s. To be honest, I'm not too sure on that.
Yeah, it is kind of a strange defense because there's only one of them, right? So, people who love symmetry, they're going to have one option, put it right in the smack dab center of the base. But I don't know either. I think I find the idea of pairing the bomb tower with just one giant bomb, maybe at Town Hall 8, would be maybe the way to go. That way it can kind of act as a pseudo double giant bomb. But then you have to make sure you get the pathing correct so that they're going to be killing the bomb tower before they trigger the giant bomb. So it is a little bit tricky, but I'm sure base designers will eventually catch up to it and figure things out. I kind of like the idea of maybe at Town Hall 10 and 11, kind of, how lately in base design we've been seeing the Inferno Towers with their own little compartment surrounded by giant bombs as an anti-miner move?
Yes.
I think with the new walls, maybe that would be a way to go for at least one of your bomb towers to kind of give like a triangle effect with the two Inferno Towers and the bomb tower, and then protect the bomb tower with a couple giant bombs or one giant bomb. Do you think that would be a viable idea, or do you just want to see them right next to the Inferno?
No, I think that's a good idea too. As long as the thing was right, lead them to the bomb tower first, have an explosion, have another giant bomb explode right next to it once they go to the Inferno. I mean, that's money,
Yeah, I'm with you there. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. But with the additional wall pieces too, I think it does open up, new compartments to put the bomb towers in. But what do you think of the troop AI section, or UI, I guess? And are you a big fan of the new training system? And we'll talk about. I posted a poll on Twitter, by the way, and I do want to get to a few of these comments before I let you go here. And a lot of people said that, let me just put on a replay here. A lot of people have issues either around the gem boost or around the UI, how it does combine Dark Elixir troops with regular Elixir troops, or the gem boost, how you have to boost all your barracks at the same time. Now, me personally, I love the new training section. However, I do find it much more difficult, and it shouldn't be more difficult, to kind of micromanage exactly what you want to cook. And there are a bunch of little small things that I would do a little bit differently, although I think the feature, personally, I like it overall. Now, I think I remember you saying you weren't a huge fan in Clan Chat. What say you?
I'm not a fan. That is correct.
Okay, tell us why.
Well, I mean, like any other human being, we don't like change,
Yes, yeah.
So I like having the 4 individual barracks plus the 2 dark barracks to be able to train exactly what I want to train in each one. So like you were saying, it is easier to micromanage those as opposed to the way they have it now, where it's kind of like on a one big giant scale. So for me, I like the micromanaging better. Plus, gymming, it was a little easier back then too. I could queue up what I wanted to gym. I could gym that right away. If I'm cooking an army now I have to kind of drag units. I have to take them out. Then I have to hit the gym. Then I have to put them back in. It's a little messy.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think that it does. in a lot of ways, I mean, I disagree with you in the fact that I like the feature. I'm a big fan of it, and I'm glad they put it in. But I'm going to be a little bit conspiracy theory here, and I think there are some semi-little built-in ploys to get us to spend gems a little bit more. And the reason I say that is, A, the boost, how now there's no option, obviously, to individually boost barracks or and so forth. And B, I kind of noticed that I'm using the Donate Now button a lot more often than I previously did. And it's kind of what you talked about there, how it's not as simple as just going to one of your barracks and gemming up a few troops. Now you have to go to your troop training, you have to drag around the troops, and it's just a little bit more of a pain. So now I'm just like, you know what, I'm not going to go through all that hassle. I'm just going to go ahead and Donate Now. So I've noticed that I've been spending a little bit more on the Donate Now feature, where obviously they're charging you for the resources as well that way, you know?
That's what I don't like, is that they charge you for the resources as well. I mean, I would totally use the Donate Now feature if it was just gymming the troop itself and not the resource as well.
Yeah, I think that now that we have this new UI, if they gave us the Donate Now option without the resources added in, I mean, I would be donating now, 24/7. That would be so convenient, because then I wouldn't have to worry about, trying to order my troops properly and, finding out where each army goes or each troop goes in the queue. And I don't know. I think that this would be a great time to do that,
Totally agree with you.
So what do you think of, let me go ahead. Actually, what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, real quickly, I want to go over a few of these Twitter comments, and maybe you have a take on a kind of rapid fire, just maybe a sentence or two or a thought or two on some of these comments. I asked what people's favorite and least favorite parts of the update were. Favorite, a lot of people just, mentioned the things that we already talked about, which are awesome. The new friendly wars, the new UI, the positive parts about it. But, I don't want to be negative, but I am more interested in giving feedback on possibly the negative or the things that people are having issues with. So a few of the comments here are boosting issues. We already talked about that, Tim says. Miners are dead, says Raider Marston, and we already talked about that. You're a fan, kind of, and although you did admit that they might have gone a little bit too far.
Yes.
And what else here? Let me see if let's watch a live replay here. Okay, so another guy. Let's see. Oh, King Jimbo says he wasn't a big fan of the overall troop nerf. He said, defenses are so strong now, it's very difficult to even 2-star with max troops, and witches still suck. Well, we love KJ. He's our clanmate and longtime co-leader, but we already talked about all that stuff too. Let me try to cover something that we haven't talked about here. So, okay. One guy says, Wesley Van Den Berg says, your previous army, if that were your troops used in the previous attack, he thinks it would be golden. But now he can barely ever use it because he's obviously talking about farming, and obviously he's not always using his entire army. I think that's a pretty good suggestion. What do you think?
I mean, couldn't he just save his previous army if that's a farming army and then just use that one to train after?
You could definitely, let's think, you're saying use one of your presets.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't know about you. Have you saved presets yet?
I have a couple, yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of just making a preset only taking up like 200 troops or so.
Yeah, you can kind of toy with
exactly.
Yeah.
So that would be a good suggestion to him, right? Just go ahead and you kind of nailed it there. The previous army could still be your previous army, and then just in your saved spots, you can go ahead and tweak,
Right, do like a farming army, do a war army, and, something else, trophy pushing, whatever, what have you.
Yeah, exactly. So, Yamin and Slade say they love the update, no gripes there, so it's good to see that a lot of people actually are giving positive feedback about an update, because it's been a while, so it's good to see that this is very well received, this update. So, moving on, Justice mentioned hogs, we already talked about that. Let's see here. Anybody else? Boosting costs. We know about that. William agrees with you. He says he hates how you can't train troops in different barracks, and I know that's a common request or a common gripe. And basically, it's just because of the combination of the dark troops and the normal troops.
Right.
Let's see, what else do we have here? They buried the miner next to the witch. You can't queue up individual barracks. Too many upgrades, COC Trivia says. I think that's a good thing. I like having something to do.
Me too. I love that they added the new walls, and my favorite defense they added was the new Tesla levels.
Yeah. Oh, is that what you're prioritizing?
Yeah, I'm doing 2 of them right now. I'll probably get all 4 going as soon as I can farm up the rest and get my walls to at least level 10.
Yeah,
the new ones.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I can't make up my mind, Crips, about do I want Expos or do I want Teslas? So I've gone with one of each for now. And then
there's probably more benefit to doing the Expos just because they have a longer range. I mean, they can do more damage to a queen walk, especially if you have them set to ground. Mm-hmm. And the Teslas are more centralized usually, but I like Teslas, man. Those are my favorite. That's my favorite defense, so I got to do those first.
And they look pretty cool, right? The new ones?
Definitely, they look really cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. There are 2 things that weren't addressed, which have been long-term pain points in the game, is engineered bases, and which is something we don't have to deal with that often. And the second thing is cloud time not being, the trophy pushing system just still being, 4 years old now. Do you have any quick thoughts on either of those issues? Or I know you're not currently trophy pushing, so you probably don't, probably not in the midst of a painful trophy push, but do you have any easy solutions that you've thought of on either of those?
To be honest, no. I don't. I'm not a big trophy guy. If we do like a clan-wide push or a alliance-wide push, then yes, I'll join in, and I'll climb as high as I can. But I don't know, cloud times and all that. I don't know that there is nothing I can think of that would fix that. Yeah. And bases, that I don't know either. We don't really have to deal with that so much in red.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's definitely I think it's overall in the game. I think that engineered bases are kind of like us dealing with modding clans. It happens often, and it's discouraging when it does, when you get matched up against a clan for a lot of people who, they have the max defensive list bases or whatever. I think it should be just as easy as reworking the weight system a little bit, I think. It should be just a few tweaks, unless I'm just being terribly naive.
No, I agree with you. You shouldn't have somebody who's a Town Hall 9 match with a Town Hall 11, with a level 20 Grand Warden and 40/40 if they don't have walls and, 2 defense, whatever that may be. The algorithm doesn't make sense.
Yep, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But I've had you for like 40 minutes now. People are probably sick of hearing my voice and want to hear more of yours. So I hope you can come on again, and hopefully it won't be another 6 months this time.
Yeah, we'll do it a third time, man. I'm in. You just let me know when.
You've been a great guest. Thank you so much, Crips.
All right, thanks, Ash.
All right.